How are you, Barra? A big weekend to get through. Both teams winning. A huge win for the Eagles and some great performances.
Yeah, and before we get to get all of that, there's a brilliant story about you. But before we even get to that, Dennis Cometti, you just mentioned him there, mate. I would have loved to have heard Dennis Cometti commentate the Eagles game on Sunday night. Dennis and Bruce. I mean, Adam Papali'i did a pretty good job. Pav and Scoey kind of, it's almost like they're taking it too professionally or too serious. Like, they don't really get into the emotion. I don't think they kind of read the room because, I don't know, well, you were there, right? Mm-hmm. I was there. The stadium was unbelievable. When he kicked that first goal, Harley Reid, the joint exploded. Mm-hmm. The second goal exploded. And then the dual palm-off on Oliver and Petrarca. Mate, there were 95-year-olds jumping out of their wheelchairs.
Apparently throwing phones in the air that was smashing on the ground.
Oh, it was just, it was unbelievable.
I think I wrote that the first goal brought the house down. The second one shook the Burswood postcode. When he kicked the 3-bounce goal.
And you're so right, Harley's house. It will be Harley's house in a couple of years. I know, not when Dockers games, obviously, but West Coast games, it'll be Harley's house. And people are going there. I know people now who are making sure that he's not being rested for the game they're going to make sure that they catch him. They want to see him play. They want to be there and say, oh, I saw Harley Reid in the early days. It's like the beginning of a masterpiece that's being painted out in front of you at the ground. It's like Michelangelo starting the friggin' Sistine Chapel.
Sweet.
Mate, don't you reckon it's of that stature?
Football, it's a good football metaphor, yes. Look, I think if you want to, talking about the Eagles brand and what Harley's brought to it, mates of mine who are representative of the Eastern States just watch Eagles games now for Harley. And a lot of people weren't
like
watching the Eagles.
They like Harley.
And they weren't watching the Eagles last year because, let's be honest, it was a hard watch last year. But now they're tuning in and they're texting me in-game while I'm working saying, gee, he can play. I'm saying, well, hello, McFly. Really? You're just waking up to this?
Hello.
Yeah,
McFly.
Exactly.
Mate, the French have got an expression. It's fier de soir. Fier de soir, mad joy. There was mad joy at Optus Stadium on Sunday night.
Yeah,
mate.
he's a special talent, that's for sure.
And I think it's going to go on. Now, and Jake Waterman, we'll talk about him in a moment as well, the most improved
Mr.
player.
Sticky fingers,
and he was lucky that Jack Lever went off, obviously. Yeah. So that kind of made his day a lot easier. And maybe he doesn't kick 5 if Jake Lever's there. But I have heard a rumour. I'm a bit embarrassed to talk about this, and particularly, and I haven't told Josh about this. I hope he's okay, and my daughter's in the room as well, so just block your ears for a minute. I believe there was a certain well-known West Australian doing the half marathon who may or may not have. How would you describe it? No, it's not a disgrace.
I know where this is going.
It's not a disgrace, but I believe that nature came calling during the half marathon.
Well, you're talking about me. Look,
did he let go? Did he
come clean.
As running?
I had to do a Paula
Come
Radcliffe.
clean. I didn't mean that. I meant...
I had to do a Paula Radcliffe. So I'll just let me explain.
Better explain what a Paula Radcliffe is.
I have run a few, but this has never happened before. And look, the Run for a Reason is a fantastic event, really well run, lots of enjoyment around the track, people running for great causes.
Mate, you pissing yourself's got nothing to do with the HBF Run for a Reason.
But there's not enough toilets. My only feedback to them is more toilets, please. Now, what it normally happens...
So you couldn't get to the next
what normally happens, mate, is when you have other events, there's lots of bush around and blokes can just duck off. But on this one...
Would you urinate in the bush, would you?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
With about 1,000 other runners.
Isn't that illegal?
About 1,000 other runners do it in Kings Park, mate, and what have you.
Is that right? Is that what they do?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Mate, New York, I had to have one off the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, which was only about a K in.
Did it blow back on you?
No, but it was like the Verrazano's got 2 levels. Fortunately, I was on the lower level. So. But just back to the story. So what happens is I get about 15 Ks in or so, and I'm that stretch. You've come out of Polly's Pipe.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking... Now, I'm in pain now. I'm actually in trouble and in pain, and I'm struggling to run. Now, please let there be some toilets around the corner. No.
Nothing.
Diddly squat, nothing. And I thought, well, I've got 2 options. I could just quit.
It was that bad?
I can quit.
How much water did you drink? You must have overcooked it.
Nah, some days you do. I'm pretty good at it. I've had a bit of experience. I know what I'm doing. But some days you just need to go more. Anyway, it was either quit, and I'm not a quitter, Barra, or it's just go for it. So I just let it go. Mid run, mid stride.
What was that like? It was warm.
By the way, this is number ones, not twos, for anyone who's listening. Oh, it was a bit uncomfortable, mate. You know what, though?
Did you throw water? I don't know.
Next
what
water station.
What would you do?
Next water station, you have a bit of a, but it's...
You ran away from everyone, did you?
Now, to be fair, I was wearing skins, so, there's a bit of catchment there.
Oh.
But...
So it's sort of puddled in there.
As it trickles down the back of your legs, you're thinking...
Oh,
is this okay?
This is
Are the
unbelievable.
people behind me all right here? And no, there were no complaints, so I got away with it. And Barra, I finished. So, you know what? Never let it be. The goal is to get to the finish line alive, and I did.
That is a monster effort. I can't believe you got spotted. And the other one, we had Di Castella come and talk to us once, Rob Di Castella, and he said in one marathon, I can't remember if it was Commonwealth or Olympic, that he had to go number 2s
While he was running.
Yeah, and it was diarrhea, obviously. I shouldn't put too much finer point on it, but he just let go then and just threw water behind his bum and kept running. Can you imagine still running after doing that?
Well,
I think he won silver or something.
Well, Deeks, Monaghetti, Quartermain, I know how they feel, mate. It's just we marathoners. It's just...
You've really shown your cards here. What sort of time did you end up with?
Terrible. It was a shocking time. About half an hour slower than the last one I ran. And obviously,
3 hours? 2 hours?
No, under 3. But about 2:40, which is like a half an hour slower than I should be. Like, that's real old man's pace. But I'll get... And you know what it did do? It shocked me back into reality, Barrett, because I'm doing the full marathon, the Perth Marathon, the running festival in October, and now I know where I'm at.
Have I got one for you, mate? I bumped into a bloke and I was talking about you and your marathon and love of marathons, and my brother's the same. And my brother coaches, I believe, people online and stuff. And there's a marathon called The Tunnel. It's a mind-bending test of extreme endurance. It's in the UK. It's in Bath or Somerset, around there. And basically you run through a tunnel, 55 hours to run it. You've got to go 100 out and backs through the tunnel.
100 Ks?
100 out and backs. So there must be 100 Ks, is it? Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's just you go up and back, up and back.
200 times through the tunnel, basically.
No.
It's called the Coombe Down Tunnel.
And it would be dark in there.
Yeah, and dark as well, yeah. So at night, you're basically running with lights on your head and stuff.
Mate. No, not for me. Oh, you give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, but sometimes in the dark you don't feel the pain as bad, do you?
Oh, I don't know. I've never... no, not for me, mate.
No, put a line through that one. Right, forget that.
But thanks for the offer. Wouldn't mind doing the Comrades one day, which is like that 100K one in South Africa. You go up or down from Peter Maritzburg to Durban, I think it is, and an amazing run.
Is that 100 Ks, is it? I think it is, actually.
It is. Yeah.
So you do 2 marathons, basically.
Yeah.
And a bit more. Jeebus.
Yeah.
You're mad, you people. Now, what are we going to talk about first? You want to talk about Elliot Yeo? Get that out of the way?
Let's do that. Before we do, let's talk about just Mr. Sticky Fingers, Jake Waterman. What a year he's had in Oscar Allen's absence, and with Jack Darling's form. Jack Darling was very good at the weekend, by the way.
12 tackles.
A great game. Best game of the year easily, so well done to Jack. And he's really stood up, Jake. Equal leader in the Coleman medal, amazing stuff.
The Loosh, as they call him. They like calling him the Loosh.
The Loosh.
Like revolution.
Yeah.
The revolution. Or the G Train. He's a bit of a Fraser Gehrig fan. So
but he's got the Fraser Gehrig mullet.
Yeah.
But what a
transformation, eh?
One-on-one. And with his health battles last year, which have been well documented, just to come back from that, he one-on-one... I mean, early, he's outmarked May on a wing, and he's gone inside 50, outmarked him again. And he just, one-on-one, you wouldn't want to be playing on him at the moment.
And he would have thought about leaving last year when he was renegotiating, wasn't he? I think at one stage he almost did leave. I was thinking maybe he needed a change, maybe it would be better for him. But as it turns out, no, it wasn't. And Oscar hasn't been playing, so that's...
Due back in a couple of weeks.
And Josh Kennedy retired. So suddenly became the main man alongside JD, and Jesus, come on.
And
mate,
the most impressive thing with Jake and how difficult, what makes him such a difficult, his work rate. He works up that ground.
14 Ks. Yeah, runs 14 Ks every game. And you know what? You made a good point there. That's what changed him up, because he finished early and had that...
Bowel syndrome that he's still dealing with. Yeah. It's a lifelong syndrome.
He lost a heap of weight. But he trained his absolute... literally off and that's why he got ultra fit, and now he can bust anyone. He can outrun
busting
anyone.
them.
and he's busted him. And it would have been. I wish Lever was still out there just to see.
Because with no Lever and May and McDonald back there, it just imbalanced them a lot, didn't it?
A lot, yeah. They were lucky in that respect, West Coast. But geez, it was a good win. And with Harley firing up, and Tim Kelly was amazing. Bailey Williams even lifted against Gawn.
Well, the Gawn was a really interesting duel because I think Bailey did really well, but it was also the way the Eagles were like buffeting him off the ball, which a lot of teams are doing now. And you know what? You know what's going to follow that? Who are they playing this week? They've got St Kilda. Look out, St Kilda, because Max Gawn, when he has I thought Max was pretty good still, but it wasn't his usual dominant self. What follows a quieter game, I guess, is...
Exactly. And Adelaide, the Eagles are playing Adelaide, aren't they? I tell you who also lifted for Wallage Marwa is Dommy Sheed.
He did.
Mate, they put him on Oliver.
Yes.
And that's his job now, stopper, like cooler, bit of a cooler, play defensive mid, and he lifted. And so there's some hope there that he can do that job.
Just with the Eagles, before we get on to Elliot Yeo, so that is now like it's not quite a fortress, but it's like a high security perimeter home now. It's really hard to play the Eagles at home.
Won 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Should have beaten Essendon probably.
They should have.
Yeah.
And so they've just got to transfer that competitiveness on the road. And the week before against Collingwood, they were showing up a bit. So, and they admit that. They've just got to get it right on the road.
You know, when I played at West Coast, people switching off.
No,
now. I know
you're
that.
fine.
But in our goals, we had our goals given to us and we put them in our locker to see every time we went to Subi, we'd open our locker and we go, there's the goals. One of our goals was never lose at home. It's like never, not just win 90%, we're never. So that's...
You made a pretty good fist of it.
Yeah, we never got beaten at Subi ever. Yeah. I mean, during that early 90s.
Maybe Hawthorn and Jag one every now and then, I guess.
Beat them us in that finals. Remember that final?
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah.
That was a great final.
Yeah.
But we still, But that's interesting, isn't it? Because that becomes a fortress. And I think Simo said, I think you said it in your article, that's the first step of the rebuild. First step of the rebuild is being hard to beat at home.
Yep.
Okay, and they're doing that, and now they've got to extend it to Adelaide Oval for Kuwana this weekend.
And I reckon the crowds now, just as the Collingwood Richmond when they're playing well at the MCG, I reckon the crowd's worth 4 goals. I reckon the crowd here now with Harley, with their engagement with Harley, I reckon it's 4-goal crowd.
There's no question. You know what Pikey's done well? I saw him yesterday. You know what he's done really well is re-embraced the fans and gone out of his way to, okay, you want to change the banner? No probs. Piss off that bloody blow-up thing.
Oh, it's a great move.
let's fix up the song.
Who's got that now?
I don't know. Yeah, it's probably in someone's backyard. Yeah. Kids come running out of it every day on the way to school.
Yeah. Imagine that. It's got to be somewhere.
It's bloody massive too. Yeah. We take a bit of blowing up too.
Might be in someone's lounge room.
Geez, you'd get head spins from that. So he's done that. So he's re-engaged the fans. Over 50,000 there. On a Sunday, late Sunday, 4:20.
That's good effort.
Country people have to drive back to bloody Bunbury.
No public holiday the next day. It's a great effort.
It's a huge turnout. So they're so behind the club. And Harley's obviously leading the charge there. But he's also done the past player thing. So he had all us guys, the first-year dudes who played in the inaugural game, bang. We've been there. This weekend I saw every Indigenous player that has played for the club was in the rooms.
Yeah.
Led by David Wirrapunda, and guys like that. Just
Sharad Wellingham was there. I spoke to him about it on Saturday. He was really looking forward to that.
He looks good. All the materials. I don't know if Rue was embraced on the Thursday. Rue came over for the Italian team of the century, was named the captain. He went down to the club rooms. Rue could not believe the facilities. I'm not sure he'd seen him before, but he went through with Pikey and met all the players, and he was like, whoa, they have come a long way. Because they have got, I think they're probably still the best facilities. Pretty soon, you get past pretty quickly, don't you? But
you do.
Probably still the best facilities.
Who's going to have the facilities soon?
Pardon?
The Hawks. Out at
yeah. Well, you guys
special.
might go to number 1. But I remember when Harley Reid got here. Remember when Harley Reid got here for the Victorian under-18s?
Yes.
Country team.
Did the tour.
And I copped him at the airport with Cod, I think, and we put it online as well because we spoke about it. And he was going to the facility at Lathlane because somehow it was organised that Victorian Country would have a tour of the Eagles. That was good timing, wasn't it?
Very, very well planned, yes.
And I think when we talked about it, you said, was his name on a locker somewhere already?
Yeah. Bet you it was.
Was it the Harley Reid corner of the cafe? They certainly were. But he walked through with his eyes bulging, going, "Oh my God, how
Bit
good
of
is
different
this
to
place?"
the Tongala change rooms.
Yeah, Tongala concrete floor change rooms.
Yeah.
So that's what Pikey's done well. Re-engage the past players. You know, the young players now understand the history. They know the players, and the fans are just more invigorated and just so loud when Harley gets the ball. Do you open your window? Were you on radio or where were you?
Can't
sitting?
open the window where I am. I'm 3 rows back in the press box. I sit up above a bit, so I can't open any window.
Well, mate,
but you can. It's a bit diluted, the sound, to be honest. But I get it.
Why don't? Because I don't think the Fox guys got it because they obviously didn't.
I got it.
Yeah, so you would understand. But the radio guys, they open their window when they call, so they can hear the full effect. So you just, like, why don't you go and work in one of the radio boxes and just have a listen to the, because you're missing out, mate. On, I mean, you don't need it, but you know what you wrote was exactly what happened. So you obviously understood it. But gee, it's worth going. It's like a rock concert.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Well, Woolwich, Marrawar and Wallula put on a rock concert every 2 weeks, mate. That's basically what it is. It's amazing, really, when you think about what goes into putting on a home game.
Do you want to talk about Elliot Yeo?
Let's talk about Elliot. Is he going? Oh, look, my gut feel says he stays. He's being offered, but the thing about Elliot Yeo, so he's being offered 1.3 million by Adelaide in the first year, reportedly, and then so heavily front-ended.
Almost 3 million for 3 years.
Yeah. So it's very attractive, and they are it's a short life as an AFL player. So I wouldn't begrudge anyone making the most of it. However, I just reckon if he goes back, what's he on now, 800?
Yeah.
I reckon if he goes back and says, show me a bit of love. Just show, don't have to match it, just show me a bit of love. I would think, given his investment in WA, he's got family, he's expecting a child, is that right?
Yep.
I think all those things considered, I reckon my gut feel says he stays, but I think they need to show him a little bit of love.
Yeah, and I think they did try to snip him when he got injured again. You know, but the only thing I think about is, well, firstly, I think the first decision will be they'll ask Harley.
Oh, yeah.
They'll go, Harley.
But he's very important to
Harley.
Harley.
Do you want Elliot to stay?
He does.
Yes, I do. I really do. Or if he says, yeah, no, I might go past him pretty soon.
He's not saying that.
No, I'm not saying
he's saying I
that.
want him to stay.
Yeah, I'm just saying everything's going to be put through the Harley filter because they're trying to re-sign Harley. So whatever keeps Harley happy. You want to bring your mate over and live with you and play for the Eagles waffle team? No probs, we'll do that. No dramas. Yeah, you want us to get you a sponsorship at Herdsman, one of the best supermarkets.
Feed your shopping trolley for nothing.
Just go in there, just down the road, all that sort of stuff.
Not a bad life.
I get what they're trying to do there. With Yowie though, like if I'm being honest, I'm saying he probably. I mean, he was brilliant in the grand final. He could have won the Norm Smith, right? 2018. Yep. So he has been brilliant for the club. But since then, injury has cruelled him.
Soft tissues, and it's a worry when you're getting a bit older with the soft tissues. So
they've stuck by him and done the righty. So there's a little bit of that. I think he's on 800, but he knows that McGovern's on 1 million. So he's thinking, hang on, how did McGovern, because he had the same managers at the time, I think. So he found out what McGovern was on. That created a bit of disquiet amongst the boys. And Yowie changed managers after that as well. So he's probably... Yeah, he was getting 200 grand less than McGovern. I think McGovern later on maybe pushed back some money to help out to keep Yo. But I think Yowie, I think you got to stay, mate. Now I get what you're saying. Let's give him a bit more. But how's the way it works too? How it leaks out and becomes pressure. So the clubs use managers, and the managers leak it to the media, and the media run the story. But I'm always perplexed about that because if the clubs actually know what's going on. Why would the media influence them anyway? Do you know what I mean? Having Yowie in an Adelaide jumper on the back page.
Public pressure is probably a bit different. There's a bit of public pressure then on the club, and they want to be seen to be doing the right thing by their fans. So there's always a strategy, and whenever it's leaked to the media, it's always leaked for a reason. Sometimes by the club.
Well, it worked spectacularly this week because I picked up the paper today, and it's Elliot Crow.
Yep,
it's the headline, which is I thought was pretty clever. And he's in a Crows jumper, isn't he?
Yep.
Which probably turns the screws on West Coast a bit, even though they know exactly the scenario. And maybe they come to him. He's got heavy personal reasons to stay here. I would think he would stay here. Him and Harley have really got a close bond. I don't know if you saw him in the rooms after the game, but he come up to him and spoke in his ear and whispered in his ear, and they were hugging.
Tim Kelly's got a good bond with Harley too. He's taken him under his wing as well. So that midfield's really sinking, and you'd be loath to disrupt that at the moment. So, and let's just hope Elliott, with his soft tissues, he can stay on the part, because right now he's in the All-Australian squad, even though he's missed a couple. He's in the All-Australian side. Sorry, with his form. So
a very confident young man, Harley, isn't he?
Very. That's not easy. Just watching him at the weekend, I was marvelling at the fact that even for a first year player particularly, he's played 9 games, this kid. And look, I'll say also, I've watched a lot of footy. Easily the best first 9 games I've ever seen. First 10 rounds.
So Matt Rowell, first 5 was super.
Yeah, but different. He's a bit of a more in and under.
Dacos was getting 30s.
He's not as explosive as this bloke. Yeah, I know, mate.
Winning games.
But this guy takes hangs.
He's playing inside mid too.
He fends off guns. He's not afraid to get in their face and just to accelerate away from them as he does, and then just you knew he was going to.
He's got a brilliant palming technique, because I played rugby. That was my go, palming. The way he does it is spectacular. The way he can move his hips at the same time as pushing away.
Yeah. Special talent.
It's almost like he explodes away from the bloke. So when he got Oliver, and then Petrarca comes and he goes, and you can have one too. Boom.
Yeah. By the way,
imagine Petrarca. He must have gone, what the? I'm the strong dude here.
Hey, in Nam's defence, he's a pretty special player, Petrarca. Now, I know he didn't get the 10 votes like Harley at the weekend, but he did not from a lack of trying, mate.
No,
Petrarca,
He tried to put him on his back.
Second, third quarter, kicked a goal, created a couple of direct assists. Terrific player, Christian Petrarca. And every time I watch him play, I'm in awe of him.
He tried to carry him home, and so did Gawn, but Gawn got neutralised. Yep. I tell you what, Tom Cole had a chance to absolutely fill Gawn in.
Yep.
He had to sit under the ball. And, I was surprised, I got to admit, that he didn't. Because you remember when Nick Nat drove his knee through Aaron Sandilands? It was that scenario there. That sort of...
Are players getting a bit more wary of the fact of Mr. Tribunal?
Yeah, probably. I think Coley's just a good bloke.
Yeah.
But he had a chance to put the knee right under the ribs.
Yeah, a lot of players would have.
And it's Max Gawn. I tell you, just going back to Harley, so when the guns come to the club, so Cousins and Judd and all those sort of guys, and they're super confident, as a senior player, you're sort of torn because you don't want to really help them too much because you know they're going to take your spot.
Yeah.
So I remember there's a famous Eagle. He captained the club as well, and he said, "Mate, never help the young blokes. Never. I'll take your job. I'll take your job." And I'm thinking, what's he talking about? And now I realise what he's talking about. Cause,
you want them to succeed because
but they've pinched your job, mate. If you're in the midfield with them, they can. And what would Harley be thinking? Mate, I'm going to be the man. I'm going to be number one.
Well, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and so so someone drops off the edge. Is it Sheed? Is it even Tim Kelly? I don't know.
Tim Kelly's not dropping off the edge. He's staying in that side.
It's probably not Yowie.
No.
Someone goes out.
Yeah.
Gaffey's felt the wrath. He's Gornsky.
Sheed's found a role to play, so that's helped him.
But Elliott Yo's got to come back this week, so someone gets chipped out. And Sheed saved himself. Gaff's, I think Gaff's finished.
Yeah,
because
possibly
unless Sheed
he's
failed.
He's there for depth.
Yeah, and that would be if Sheed fails, he comes in. So I think now with Gaffey, they go, well, let's work out your send-off game. Do you want to do it in the Derby? That could be appropriate. I don't know. Maybe it's not appropriate.
It's a Freo home Derby, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not appropriate.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that.
Good point. So choose a home game. Yeah. Let's have the big send-off for Gaffey. I think that's what they'd be thinking.
They do that because... Are they playing finals? No. So I think it's about developing, but there's still room for that, I think. I'm a big one for farewell games. And
those convos will be starting now.
Yeah.
Because we're in May.
Now, let's get it over with, Barra.
Oh, the
I didn't really want to talk about it.
Oh, mate. What are you going to do?
You know what I did in the press? So it was on while we were waiting for the Woolwich Marrawar Narm game to start at the weekend, Barra. And you know what I did? I walked away. Yada Pulti were coming within a couple of goals of Hawthorn, and so people were saying to me, "No, you're right." I said, "No, we're not." I'm going. So I walked up and down that corridor just outside the media centre, And someone said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I've run a half marathon. I need to walk the soreness off." But no, I just didn't want to watch.
You just couldn't watch.
No.
And you felt like it was coming.
I knew it was coming.
Butters was dragging him through.
Yeah.
How good was he?
Well, the only thing I'll say is so I think Sam Mitchell is becoming a very, very good coach, and he's going to be an exceptional coach. But I reckon the players and Sam Mitchell can learn something from the weekend, and that is when you're in control of a game, stay in control of the game. Don't defend the lead. So Will Day goes back. Blake Hardwick, who's kicked 5, goes back.
That was the one.
I know CJ was subbed out, and that's because he hadn't played for a year. I totally understand that, and I would have done the same. You need to manage him. But keep Will Day in the centre. Keep Blake Hardwick.
Moving Hardwick was extraordinary.
Yeah,
He
they've
kicked 5
basically
goals.
conceded that we're going to put up shop now way early, like 3/4 time or before the end of the third quarter. And here you go. Have a run at it, boys. No, you don't take your foot off the throat.
He almost pinched it, and obviously Willie Rioli got him within
Well, he's
a
never
kick.
going to miss.
Got him within a kick.
When he had it, I thought, we're in trouble here.
All you had to survive was 22 seconds.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know.
22
yeah,
seconds.
I know. I'm aware.
And Burn Jones, he socketed it.
Yeah, I know.
Mate, and you have a listen to this stat. Hawthorn led for 121.4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Port led for 58 seconds.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Collingwood.
Sorry, mate.
I just wanted to mention Collingwood because
58 seconds.
a player we both admire, I know, is Scott Pendlebury. 393 games. At the weekend, he had 30 possessions, kicked 2 goals in their narrow win over Kuana, Adelaide. He's not quick, Barra. Never has been. But is there a player with greater footy IQ? Maybe Toby Green, but this bloke is a genius. Will play on next year. And you know what I found out at the weekend? And this is an amazing stat. This is not having a go at Pendlebury, but he's played 393 games.
Never played at Geelong?
Worse.
Worse?
300. He's played more than 300 games in Victoria.
Yeah, I know.
So you compare
And he's
that
never
to
played at
what
Geelong.
we've been talking about with the travel over here. It's over 300 games in Victoria.
He's played 6 times over here. And how many seasons did you say?
I don't know.
18 seasons.
It's remarkable, you know. And great career, great player. Will play on. I'm glad he will play on. And
Mate, I'm giving the Dockers a huge chance.
Okay.
Because Jordan
so am I.
DeGoey out.
Yep.
Apparently, definitely out. I was surprised
we need to get onto while you're up. Actually, let's talk about them.
just before you leave Collingwood. I was surprised you mentioned Pendlebury because that's the elephant in the room is Nick Dacos. 41 disposals, 22 contested possessions, 14 clearances, 5 tackles, and 542 metres gained.
Okay, what were his?
That is like the all-time great
Have you
game.
got his kicks, handballs break up there?
No, I've just got 41 disposals.
Well, let me throw one at you. Kicking efficiency 29% at the weekend.
Mate,
29% kicking efficiency.
can I just say, his kicking efficiency when the game was there to be won, who kicked the ball to
Okay,
DeGoey?
that's fine.
Who went, hey, DeGoey, lead there, bang. DeGoey kicks the winner. Mate, don't give me none of that. Mate, when
All right.
the chips were down,
29%.
that kid delivered. Kudos to Quaynor too, that smother in the back 50 to set up that winning chain as well.
Yep.
That was an incredible game. You're right, he's less than 30% kicking efficiency and he had 11 clangers. 11 clangers. His previous was 6. So
He's a very good player.
But when it crunch time,
Absolutely.
you wanted the ball in his hands.
Now, while you're up, Caleb Sarong just rolls along to another Doig medal, in my opinion. He is having a remarkable season. So is Jordan Clark, getting the job done every
great
week.
back.
Amazing season. The usuals, but I am concerned about their goal kicking, Barra. Another 9-18 at the weekend. I liked Justin Longmuir's language, by the way, after the game, in that what would you rather be, not getting it inside 50 or getting it inside 50? It's probably easy. It is
But the
easier
answer to that is you'd rather kick goals.
Yeah, but that's easier to get the goal kicking right than getting the ball inside
is it?
50. I think so.
They've kicked 33 behinds.
Well, their trouble has
Last 2
been
weeks. Last 2 weeks.
Their movement inside 50 has been an issue, and I think it's getting better. So there's a tick there. They just got to convert. And I mean, Jai.
Even Amos, who never miss, as they used to call him, is missing.
Is this something?
2 goals 5.
Has his run up changed?
I was talking to Josh Tracy about it yesterday, and he said he's kept his very simple.
Who was that, sorry?
Josh.
This is an important cyclone warning announcement.
I knew that was coming. I'm going
Sorry,
to talk
mate,
about
it
him again.
amuses me every time you.
We are so childish. I'm going to speak about him again. He said that his routine is so simple and he hasn't changed. I actually said to
He's a
him,
nice kick, isn't he?
Cyclone. Have you spoken to Fifey and maybe you can help him?
Oh, yeah,
and
please.
He knew it was a trap question because he goes, I could talk to him, but he hasn't. Maybe I will. As he knew, you didn't want the headline. Yeah, I'm going to help Nat Fife.
Yeah.
Because he's got he's Ian Baker Finch of the AFL, isn't he?
Yeah.
You remember when Baker Finch won the British Open and then just completely fell apart?
Can I tell you why? Oh, there's a reason for it. There's a.
Oh, here we go.
No, there is.
This will be good.
So I actually wrote this column for a couple of years with the Sunday paper, IBF, ripping bloke. Anyway, after he'd won, that was at Royal Birkdale in 1991.
Now this, I've heard you say this. This is a bull twang.
No, it's not.
Explanation,
No,
in
it's
my
not.
opinion.
He had
But anyway,
glass,
go ahead.
He was in a pub in Queensland with his mate Mike Ferguson, who was a golfer, and he had there's a bit of a these people were being D-heads and they were having a go, and I think Mike got up to tell them to quieten down. There's a bit of a fight ensued, and Baker Finch got a glass shoved in his eye, and it severed an optic nerve, which is why from that point. He couldn't see very well. Had started wearing glasses, and that was the end of it. He just couldn't putt.
So nothing to do with just getting the yips or
No, he
or
just
changing
couldn't
his
see
stroke.
properly.
Wasn't there some talk about that he changed his tried to upgrade his stroke?
Tried to do everything, but it emanated from the vision problems he
Okay.
had. So there
All
you
right.
go.
Well, I did not know
and
that.
by the way,
Why
while
hasn't
we're
that
on,
been more-
while we're
more
on
widely?
golf, I have never heard a more bizarre story than when I woke up on Saturday morning.
No.
And I see the world number one warming up for the second round of the USPGA in a
cell.
Kentucky jail cell. Pinch me and tell me I'm dreaming. It was unbelievable.
Scotty Scheffler, the goody two shoes of
Good
world
to see
golf.
Scheffler win one finally because he has let a couple slip over the years. So good to see
Xander
Xander win
Schauffele.
one. Yeah.
Souffle. Mate, he has.
No, he's not a souffle anymore, mate.
No, he rose beautifully, but he shot 66 too, Scotty, which is unbelievable.
Which is unbelievable.
Did you hear him talk about how he looked through the cell bars and he could see the TV in the background and he saw that the start was delayed? And so he thought, I might be able to get there.
And he got there.
The cell stretching.
Normally you go through your clubs and have a swing. He's stretching the old hammy in the jail cell.
Mate, he was arrested, released, and made his tea time. Is that the whitest thing you've ever heard?
Oh, yeah. It is.
Just tell me.
In Kentucky.
A bloke's
it's not
been arrested.
happening-
He charged with a felony.
Malfeasance.
Put in an orange jumpsuit, photographed, mugshotted. How quick do those mugshots get out?
It's a gentle...
Who leaks those
For
mugshots?
a gentleman's game, you look at Tiger Woods, you look at Scotty Scheffler. What's going on with these blokes and mugshots? And
But that is the whitest thing I've ever heard, that he could get out and actually make his tea time at the local, at Valhalla. Anyone else? Zero chance.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so that's the closest he would have been to prison was watching Shawshank Redemption, and he's in there. I mean, he's the straightest bloke of all time.
Yeah, he is.
But he didn't win in the end.
So Fremantle, how are we feeling about Freo? Just get that goal kicking right.
They'll beat Collingwood.
Yeah, I think.
De Goey's out. Their forward line, I mean, Brendan Cox back after the
One
bye.
of the form teams, Collingwood,
Yeah, absolutely. They're fourth, aren't they?
What about Essendon?
Fifth.
What about Essendon?
What, just before you go off that
Second
game,
on the ladder.
So when Brendan Cox comes back, what happens then?
Oh, I think Josh Draper's dropped off a little bit. I love him as a player. I think he's going to be a ripper, but I think it's hard first year.
One
in the
game
AFL.
waffle.
Wouldn't hurt. I think, he's an option to cut. Brendan Cox walks into that team.
Yeah.
So they've got to make room for
But
it.
is it forward or back? That's the thing. Isn't
Oh,
it? He wants to play back.
Yeah, back. I think back.
Their forward line's struggling. And you know what?
It'll be better when Darcy's back this week. There's the other ones.
But will it be?
I think so.
You think so?
You've got to give it time. Well, Barra, they haven't had any.
Yeah, I know. But that's the whole problem. I mean, how good was Jackson? I mean,
Yeah,
Marshall
very
did
good.
good, but Jackson was super.
It was a
He
good battle, that.
He was like an extra
I'd
midfielder.
almost give them five each.
He was like an extra midfielder, though, and they spanked them. If they kicked straight, they would have spanked the Saints. Ross Lyon's under the pump, isn't he?
Oh, I don't think he's under the pump. He's running the club.
Mate,
He's not. He can't sack himself.
Where are they?
Pretty
1,
much.
2, 3. So they're fifth bottom.
Yeah.
And got spanked
So
by
has
his
the
old team.
sugar hit diminished at St Kilda?
I don't know if he's. I mean, they've probably got a heap of injuries too, haven't they?
Yeah, they got a few, but I mean, so have a lot of other clubs. But
They
look, I just
can't
wanted
score.
to mention.
His whole thing about not being able to attack it's still there, isn't it?
I did want to mention Essendon, and I mean, if you look at that Essendon forward line, our midfield's going well. Mackay's been great for defence, and if you look at that forward line, Langford, Wright, Stringer, they've got options now. So he's done a very good job, Brad Scott, and I don't think they're a second team. I don't think they're that good, and they have got a tough fixture in the second half of the season. So let's see where we go. But Barra, at this stage, you've got to say my tip of them not playing finals looks pretty bad. Because they look like they're headed there. 2004, was it? Last time they played?
You keep thinking, are they going to drop out? You know who's back this week?
Who?
Nicknamed 2 metre.
Oh, 2 metre Peter,
2 metre Peter.
Yep.
After a month of footy under his belt.
Yep.
Welcome back. So stocks are up. That's good.
And just before we get into the Thursday Camel
goals.
Comeback, I should mention Aaron Norton at the Western Bulldogs. We've bit critical of him earlier in the season, but he's really hit form again, but more as a high forward. So
Who's
he's
that?
not playing Aaron Norton. He's not playing because they weren't kicking it to him, Barra.
Beautiful.
You got Ugle Hagen, you got Darcy down there now, but they weren't kicking it to him. So now he's playing as a high forward, which is. We never really thought that was going to be his game, did we?
No, and he did something beautiful on the weekend. He was wearing Aidan O'Driscoll's jumper.
There you go.
In the warm-up.
Nice.
So that was fantastic. And they dedicated, I believe the Bulldogs dedicated the game to Aidan.
Nice.
The win to Aidan. The boy from Northern.
Good win over GWS.
Who got drafted.
In Canberra.
Yeah. So,
in Sydney.
Yeah. So if you haven't caught the story, Aidan O'Driscoll got drafted by the Bulldogs. Collision at training. I think it might have been with Norton, by the way. And bad concussion, bad brain injury, might have fractured his skull. And they said he had to retire without ever playing a game. Which, you know what? I don't actually understand that now. Because Libba's coming back this week.
Yeah, well, I'm concerned. I'm
So
worried about Libba.
Just explain that to me.
Well, I mean, that's why it should be 28 days, Barra. I mean, sometimes you've got to protect the players from themselves. I'm not sure how. So the concussion protocols are that you must overcome. It's a 12-step, 11-day process.
But that's his fifth
with the
concussion,
AFL.
right? Fifth.
Yeah, I don't like it. You know I don't like it. So, well done this week to Aaron Hancock, who got 8 correct. Who in the game, the Barra and Quarters game tipping competition. The overall leader is Cam Swan with 64 in total. We both got 6 at the weekend, Barra, so I sit on 61 and you sit on 56. And now it is time for this.
Saddle up your camel. It's time for the Thirsty Camel mailbag.
Yes, thank you to our long-time sponsors, Thirsty Camel. This week's special, Suntory minus 196 lemon, a 10-pack, only $49.99. This week we have a $50 gift voucher to give away. Thank you to Thirsty Camel. Get your questions in to Quarters and Barra at wanews.com.au. This one held over from last week, Barra. It's a little long, but I'll get through it quickly. From Keith, why don't we wind the clock back and go old school? 1, bring back the bounce everywhere, get rid of the throw up and get rid of the bounce recall. No ruck nomination, no rule against third man up. Don't know where the ball is going, so difficult to be third man up. Stops congestion at stoppages. Also, 2, don't wait for the rucks, just bounce it or throw it in. 3, play most of the game like the old days. Fatigue is good. Eliminate interchange and replace with subs so each team gets the sub off 4 players once only. No more flooding and more one-on-one battles. Bring back you can spoil by hitting the arms. No, and finally, no goal ump score reviews. Let the third ump make the call and make changes if there was a mistake. If called a point when it was a mark, take a point off. If called a mark and it was a point, add a point. He goes on, keep the 666 rule, the stand rule and the high hits. Get rid of the rest. The game will be better for it. Sorry, this got long on me. Keep up the great work, and I'm with Barra. Quarters needs the talking stick. Keep telling your stories, boys. Love them, Keith.
Nice one, Keith. Some great suggestions there.
Don't know about the high hit one though. That's that we've moved on from that now.
Yeah, there's three things coming off that. One is the congestion in the game is there's too much now, and a lot of the head knocks are being attributed to that as well because there's so much congestion when you put your ball. It's like a rugby game. So what about
666 has helped.
Yeah, that's helped. Well, what about extending that 666 to when you kick in from a point? And you have to push back, or maybe not 666, but you have to have 6 in the forward line, 6 in the 50-metre area. So 6 defenders, 6 forwards. They all have to push back to that area instead of, you know how everyone presses up and forms a line, basically a wall across the middle to stop, and it's all the game gets played in one half of the game, or even sometimes even just in the forward 50. Could that work? Could you say, listen, every kick out, I mean, you could hold the kick out for a little bit. Everyone has to get 6 have to go back into that area, otherwise it's a free kick.
Yeah,
Six defenders, 6 attackers, and then it opens the game up. Could that actually work, do you think? I'd like to hear from our listeners as well. You know, if you want to email in and your suggestions, could that actually work? Because I've been racking my brains on how to stop the congestion. They're just too fit. The players can get up and down the ground too easily. When you watch them in real time, they are just super athletes. And so you can't stop that. They tried to do it by fatigue. Unless they drop the rotations completely, and you can't, you know, it's like into the 40s or something. Maybe that's the other way to do it.
I'm big one on reducing interchange rotations. Big one on it. I just think increased fatigue. I think that's a good way to go about it. But anyway,
have less on the bench because when we first started playing footy, it was a 19th and 20th man, wasn't there? It was 18 blokes on 18, and you only got to use those other dudes if you took someone off permanently, which wasn't a bad thing. Yeah. And from what Keith's saying, the game's come a long way. So Keith was into the ruck stuff, right?
Yep.
So in the 1955 flag, Merv McIntosh from Perth. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, kept hitting it out of bounds. Yeah, just repeatedly.
For 3 minutes. Threw the ball in, banged it out of bounds. Threw the ball in, banged it out of bounds. And Perth ended up winning. They changed that rule off the back of that game. We can't have that happening. They didn't get a chance to win. And before that even, there was a bloke at Perth called Jack O'Day. Was a secretary there for a long time, played a lot of footy. They called him Out of Bounds O'Day because when he ever got in strife in the back line, he just booted out of bounds.
But let dribble it over.
No, just booted out of bounds because in those days it wasn't you didn't kick it in.
Okay.
It was a throw in.
Oh, right, okay.
So he could just boot it out of bounds. They called him Out of Bounds O'Day. When in trouble, he just turned sideways and booted out of bounds.
So
they have improved the game a little bit.
The one there will probably be eventually, I reckon it'll be last touch, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, you know what? So the boys were telling me, the West Australian boys, you know, we got pumped by South Australia. So the sample.
Why did they play that at Optus, by the way? Let's talk about that.
Well, the players want to play there.
Yeah, I know, but these fans can't get there, can they? Because they needed an AFL ticket.
Yeah, well, they were hoping West Coast people would turn up earlier. There was 50,000 of them.
But what about WA footy fans who want to go and watch the Waffle team play against the Sandful team?
Yeah, how many were there?
Not many.
It is an interesting decision.
I'm playing it in another venue. Sorry.
I think the players would love playing.
Yeah, but do you think the players would love to play in front of a full house at Leederville or at least half a house? I reckon.
Leederville, Joondalup.
East Fremantle.
What's Leederville called?
Fremantle
Sullivan Logistics Stadium.
Yep. Down at
Fremantle Oval.
Yep.
Fremantle Bank, is it?
Yep.
Stadium. Yeah, you're probably right. But what was I going to say about that game? Oh, so the South Australians came over, and so they played WA rules because in South Australia,
between the arcs, it's last touch, isn't it?
Yeah, last touch, and they kick it back in. So maybe that is coming as well. Geez, we got pumped though. We probably should mention that.
Yeah.
It's the biggest loss in 28 years. It seemed
Apart
like
from Milan Murdoch, who won the Simpson, is that right?
Yeah, and that Blight in the back line, he looks really good. But I think they picked guys that were ex-AFL players. Maybe that was their flaw. Instead of picking in, maybe they needed to go to the club. I don't know. Maybe they did this, but go to the clubs and go, hey, who's in form? Who should we play? Who should be in this team rather than on name or reputation? I don't know. But it was bad because they had about 5 or 6 out South Australia, and they still pumped us.
Good email, Keith. This one from Dylan. Collingwood continually dive on the ball and create stoppage after stoppage when they're in front late in games. It's probably how they win so many close games. Weekend's game v Adelaide at around the 1:30 to go in the last. There's a stoppage created when Quainer locks the ball up deliberately. There's another immediately following when Darcy takes the ball out of the rock and falls to ground with it. O'Brien only half tackles him, but Chris dives in to lock it up. Ball up. This is a pattern of behaviour and it's easy to see while watching the Pies, and good on them for executing it. My question for the pod, why when a team is clearly looking for stoppages because they're in front late, why does the oppo not grab them by the jumper instead of wrapping them up in order to force them to move the ball clear, at least creating an opportunity for the attacking team? Umpire would have to pay a free kick if they don't move the ball on, right? Cheers, boys. Love your work. It's a very good email, very good point. You know what, Barra, I was thinking when we saw Sam Draper hatch the egg a few weeks ago for Essendon, bloody Hawthorn, do it at the weekend. Just fall on the footy in the pocket and force the umpire to make a call.
Well, but that was the thing, isn't it? Because I heard someone say, why wasn't there a goalkeeper? Why wasn't there a bloke on the goal line?
I couldn't agree more.
But that leaves his man free.
Couldn't agree more.
And
it
plus,
had been a bit wet. They were pretty fatigued, and I think they were doing their best. They just weren't. They just weren't up to it when it counted, Hawthorn.
And that Burn Jones, he
Great soccer goal.
socketed it. He didn't actually grab
and
it.
Hinkley reckons they do a bit of that at training, but let's move on
Really?
from Hawthorn. Yeah, they do a bit of soccer.
They practice soccering.
Yeah.
Really.
So it's paid off.
The Pies are experts, though, aren't they?
This is more of a statement, but I like it. Hey, Barrett and Quarters, how come if travel for the Eagles and Dockers is no issue according to Eastern States clubs, that Geelong has to manage 3 or 4 players for their trip to Darwin? Cheers, Peter Dyson. Peter, spot on. Spot on,
mate.
Another one from Dylan. Dear Don Pike, via Quarters and Barra. Could more be done to alert the crowd that it is time to be quiet and respectful prior to the welcome to country in future? Cheers. I agree with that. I thought if it's a national anthem, everyone gives it the respect of quiet, and particularly the last post. Everyone's quiet during that. But there are a lot of people talking during the welcome to country at the weekend, I noticed.
Is that right?
I'll finish with this one because we spoke about this in recent weeks. I like it. It's a really good email. Hi, Quarters and Barra. A bit of chat recently about your podcast promoting private school footy factories. Well, to back us up here, we weren't just promoting private. It was just a fact we were talking about.
Can I just say I was the P&C boss at Shenton College?
Yes, you were.
The biggest state school in the joint.
I have no problem with that as long as non-private schools get a bit of airplay too. So we'll do that for you right now. I wonder whether the media in WA could do some work around what government schools here have provided the most AFL footballers. I'd love to see if any school can do better than where I attended, Governor Stirling Senior High School. Here's a list of the alumni I'm aware of. Alan Sidebottom, St Kilda and Fitzroy. Gary Sidebottom, St Kilda, Geelong and Fitzroy. Bo McDonald, Brisbane, nephew of the Sidebottoms. Damon White, Port Adelaide. David Ellard, Carlton. Stephen Richardson, Essendon. Jared Blight, Collingwood. Justin Longmuir, Fremantle. Troy Longmuir, Melbourne, Fremantle and Carlton. Michael Walters, Fremantle. Nathan Broad, Richmond. Nick Naitanui, West Coast. Rory Lobb, GWS, Fremantle and Western Bulldogs. Todd Banfield, Brisbane. Chris Yarran, Richmond. And Tony Knott, West Coast. That's from Wayne. Wayne, you have made your point, and it's a very good point.
Thanks for filling us in.
Thank you. You have been listening to Quarters and Barra. We have been brought to you by Tab Touch. Got the touch? Download the Tab Touch app today. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Barra. Thank you to Josh, our producer. And we will be back on Thursday to pull apart. Wowee, it's round 11 already. Talk to you then.